So how are things so far in 2023?
Yes, things are rolling right along. Like these last weeks in particular, where we've had all this heat and all the sunshine, and then rains in between. The vines just like exploded. Really, really receptive, and yeah, they're growing like a weed. We're really busy in the vineyard right now. Um, Between we've done all of our tucking and hedging, and now we're going in and removing some leaves around the fruiting zone just to provide a little bit more airflow and reduce the opportunity for disease. So that's really important right now. It's also this time of year where we get an idea of crop load. So we're going in the vineyards right now and doing an estimated yield. And there's a lot of time before harvest, but there's not that much time. And the size of the grapes can change drastically over the next couple of months, and especially during harvest, with the amount of precipitation that we, well, hopefully don't get. But it's really good practice just to get an idea of how much space we have in the cellar relative to the crop load, and then whether we do sell any of our grapes. Because if we have a heavy crop load, we've grown our production, but relative to the amount of vineyards that we have, we still sell a few blocks year over year. So yeah, it's rolling in the cellar, and we're high spirits, but it's a busy time.
Yes, I'm sure it is, especially because your wines are so popular, and not to mention you're a great spot for visiting, but we'll get to that later. So let's talk about, I have a whole list. I think I'm trying to do a count of how many we're going to have. That's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I think we're going to have 12 different wines for people to mix and match and sample on Thursday night. So I'm very excited about that. People get excited when there's a big selection, and we're always proud to say that for anyone who loves bubbles, when it's 13th Streets Week, we know that it's going to be bubbles flowing everywhere, because I think we brought back your Cuvée Rosé, the Blanc de Blanc, the Gamay Blanc de Noir, which was a big hit last year, and then our favorite here in house is the Premier Cuvée.
Right. Yes.
Any little updates and stuff on new vintages or things for the sparkling lovers out there that they may want to keep an eye on or make sure that they try?
Yeah, absolutely. So we just disgorged our 2021 Gamay sparkling, or Gamay Blanc de Noir. So that's like just ready to drink right now. We're down to the last 10 cases of the 2019. So that's really exciting for us. The Blanc de Blanc and the Cuvée Rosé, it's always a nice summer supper, and throughout the year as well. But those two wines particularly kind of keep our lights on around 13th Street. And our Premier Cuvée and Grand Cuvée, delicious wines. We make those Premier Cuvée probably every other year to every 3 years, where our Grand Cuvée will make every 5-6 years type thing. Yeah, so updates, the Gamay Blanc de Noir is freshly disgorged and will be on the shelves shortly.
Oh, exciting. We've actually had the Premier Cuvée has been on we have a happy hour on Fridays, which is all about oysters. So your Premier Cuvée is actually on there. And I know I personally, there was 2 tables that were heading and missing, and they couldn't decide which ones to have. So I suggested your Premier Cuvée, and they were more than happy, and they were asking when they can get it. So yay, I actually pre-sold some bottles even before Thursday, just because they was such a good match with the oysters. So that was a good one. Yay for me. So that, I mean, we love as much as we love your sparklings, the other wines are also big hits around here. So I wanted to bring in a couple of other ones that people are maybe not as familiar with, which is the Pinot Gris and the Viognier. So is there any little tidbits that you can tell us about that for the white wine lovers out there?
Yeah, absolutely. So start with the Viognier. So the Viognier, it's a really interesting wine, cool wine. It's a perfect example of balancing texture with freshness. So the Viognier, a portion of it, about half of it's fermented in stainless steel, whereas the other half of it spends a little bit of time in French oak barrels. So we're looking to maintain the freshness with the stainless steel, cool ferment, and then with our barrel influence, blending it, providing a little bit more mid-palate texture, and trying to get the best of both worlds. And there's this beautiful floral aspect to the wine. It's really, really pretty and aromatic. It's one of my favorites. And dry, low residual sugar year over year. It's at 3 grams, so on the extra dry side. The Pinot Gris, classic Pinot Gris, sourced from our between our old farm and our old market farm, or old vineyard, excuse me, and then our newly planted home farm that's planted in 1993 and 2017 now. So between the two blocks, providing again a little bit of texture and freshness, 100% stainless steel, dry. It's about 2 grams residual, and just a very precise, linear, fresh Pinot Gris that is very approachable to many different palates.
We love Pinot Gris here for food pairing. That's one of our, actually both of them, both Viognier can actually be very interesting, especially in the summer with a lot of like salads and things that have a little bit more higher vegetable thing. But the Pinot Gris is where you get that interesting, different, complex flavors and aromas, and it kind of matches with a lot of stuff and things with a little bit of heat and things with maybe some Asian qualities. So we kind of get a little bit of mix of everything. So I'm anxious to try pairing some different kinds of flavors and pinchos and stuff on Thursday to go with those ones. For sure. Those are my 2 little food friendly ones that I tend to gravitate towards. Now for the red wine lovers, there's 4 different reds that we're bringing in. We still have the Expression Cab Franc here. So that's why I didn't order more, because we still had a couple there. So they're probably going to be 5 reds for people to mix and match for their little red flight that night. So we're bringing in back the Gamay, of course. Pinot Noir is always a big hit around here. The Sandstone Gamay, because I'd really like to see them side by side. And then the Reserve Syrah is coming back for all of my those big, bold red wine lovers. So just out of curiosity, because I think the Sandstone's a first time for us. Is there a bit of a comparison you can give us between your usual Gamay and then the Sandstone Gamay?
Absolutely. So Gamay is one of our bread and butter grape varietals at 13th Street. One of the wines that we've built our brand off of over the last 25 years. And between those 2 wines, our classic Gamay, the white label, it's unoaked expression of Gamay, very juicy and bright red berry fruits coming forward in the wine, and very, very malleable. It can be paired with a wide array of foods, from fresh salads, goat cheese, walnuts, beet salads, to your tomato-based dishes, your pastas, your pizzas as well. Absolutely. So juicy, crunchy red berry fruit. Our Sandstone Gamay, it's actually the wine that I've poured for myself right now.
Good for you.
Wine, you get a little bit of oak integration in this wine. It's about 12 months in barrel in various coopers. So you're finding a little bit more weight on the palate, still maintaining that freshness. But there's a touch more texture, and you get these cranberry elements to it. It's a little bit of spice on the back palate as well. It's one of my older brothers, or my only older brother, but my older brother's favorite wine year over year, and it's one of our most consistent wines. And in 1998, when 13th Street started, the Sandstone Gamay, that was one of the wines that really carried the brand. Well,
I'm glad that we chose it to come in this time, so people will actually be able to have the whole lineup side by side just to see the comparisons. Even for those who are Pinot Noir drinkers, I'm always excited for them to actually experience trying Gamays if they haven't so far, and just to see the comparisons side by side. So whether, yes, there's some similarities, but I find Gamay is a lot fresher. It's a little easier drinking, little softer, and especially in the summer, being able even just to chill a little bit, I find it much more refreshing than some of the other reds. So we tend to go through a lot of Gamay here, or at least we're recommending it a lot, which is always good. The Syrah and the Cab Franc, of course, are always like big hits. Syrah particular, I've been finding more and more people are really starting to embrace it a little bit more. And the same thing with the Cab Franc. I was telling another winemaker last week about how all of these, I only drink Cabernet Sauvignon people who used to come in here. Slowly, we've been introducing them to Cab Franc, especially the ones from Ontario, and some of the ones that actually have spent some time in oak and really had time to develop. And they are blown away by this big, bold red that can be here produced in Ontario. So I know maybe if you want to just sort of introduce a little bit more about your Syrah and the Cab Franc, just for those who don't believe me when I say that we can do big reds here.
Absolutely, and the Cab Franc it grows really well in the Niagara region. It acclimates to the soil composition quite well as well. It's a little bit of a longer cluster and a little bit of a looser cluster than the Cabernet Sauvignon. So it can suit the Niagara climate depending on the particular site. Perhaps a little bit better than Cabernet Sauvignon. That being said, there are some very premium spots in Niagara that grow Cabernet Sauvignon exceptionally well. This particular block of Cabernet Franc within the Creek Shore subappellation, year over year, there's no trouble ripening this fruit. It's consistent year over year. This wine, you're getting lots of there's this blueberry element to the wine that I quite love and find relatively unique. This wine, it's an unoaked expression of Cab Franc, which is also unique. So this wine, we're really looking to promote the primary fruit of this wine. This wine, it's all about the red and blackberry fruits associated with the wine, and a real fresh, bright Cabernet Franc. The Syrah, it's classic Syrah. You have that white and black pepper right on the aromatic profile. You get it on the back palate as well, and it's this balance between silky tannins and texture. But it's the oak integration, I think, is quite well done. It's about 12 months in barrel as well, with various coopers. And Syrah we don't make every year. It's one of the grape varietals that we don't grow ourselves. We get it from we source the grapes from a neighbor just down the road that we are very fortunate to maintain that relationship and source. So year over year, Jean-Pierre Collat, our winemaker at 13th Street, will set aside a few barrels, and if it reaches the level of quality, it'll be introduced into the portfolio. If it's not, then it'll be declassified and blended away. But we're fortunate that both in 2020 and 2021, that the quality reached a threshold to make it into your glasses.
Yay! So hooray for us. That was great. And then, okay, so then the other two I wanted to just touch on just before we finish would be the two that might be a little bit unique, which is the Cab Franc Rosé. So people may not realize that you definitely make a rosé from Cab Franc, or you can make it from most grapes. And then the Maximum Intervention, which we brought in last year, and I keep thinking that the orange wine trend is over, but it is not. We get more and more people with these low intervention wines. They're loving the complexity and the flavors of it. And the more that they're discovering it, they're realizing that every bottle and every producer is doing something different and having a different result. And it's always kind of an adventure in a bottle.
Absolutely. So starting with the Cab Franc Rosé, we actually just received some really exciting news Thursday, and I believe it'll become public either this week or early next week. But our Expression Rosé, it just received gold in the National Wine Awards, a wine line.
Yay!
Really excited about that wine, and we make two rosés on the property. One in kind of a lighter Provence style or vin gris, and then our Expression Rosé. It's more on closer to the spectrum, where you have a touch more color, still maintaining its freshness in the city, but you have a little bit more texture and it's crunchy red berry fruits, and it makes it really well suited to be paired with many different types of foods as well. Sorry,
no, I was just going to tease you, just saying that, you're saying it hasn't been announced yet, but because I'll be sending out this teaser, maybe I shouldn't say it right now and I'll wait till Thursday. Let's let Wine Line brag about you a little bit first, but we can have breaking news ourselves. Sorry, I was just too excited for you.
No. But yeah, the Expression Rosé, it's this like dry pink peppercorn, grapefruit, pomegranate, just this like bright and crisp, crunchy rosé. And then our Maximum Intervention, it's 100% Riesling. It's the orange wine, natural wine that we do on the property. And it's a special cuvée. It's in a particular block that we source our Riesling from on the estate, and we use about 2 or 3 rows on the western side of our Riesling block that we set aside to hand harvest. And it spends about 30 days on its skin, so we ferment it like a red wine. And next to no oxidation with this wine. Pump overs just enough to wet the cap, not are very much aeration associated with the process. And this year it's turned the aromatic profile. It's like this crazy, spicy, floral wine that is really, really unique. There's very little. Some orange wines you can have a kind of a cocktaily nose. You get this old-fashioned nose, whereas this doesn't have any of that. It's this like orange blossom, orange peel, floral aromatic profile with a little bit of the texture in the back palate from time on skins that I quite enjoy, and it's a restaurant or licensee program favorite.
Oh, it definitely is. I'm hoping that I don't think we have any from last year. It's too bad because I would really like to try like a previous bottling and then this one, just because I love to see those side by sides of them, but it didn't last long here. And it's a matter of fact, I think if there was any bottles left over after the tasting last time, the staff bought them. which is always a good sign when your staff are fighting over them. And I told them, I said, you have to stop. Like, I'm just hoping that they're making sure they share with the rest of the guests first, because they get so excited about it after we do our tasting for them. So the last thing I want to always talk about is that the 13th Street property is known for more than just coming in for a wine tasting, because you celebrate art and then the grounds in your events and everything else that you're doing. So is there anything else coming up this summer that people should keep an eye on, or if they're going to come for a visit, what they should plan for?
Absolutely. So 13th Street's really become a destination winery, and we're looking to create this village aspect to the wine, where we have you can have a one-on-one experience doing a wine tasting, or have a wine by the glass and enjoy the sculpture garden, the bakery aspect of the business, the art gallery. We just opened up our restaurants mid-May. There's a new outdoor kitchen that was just finished, so that's really exciting. We have live music Thursday, Friday, Saturdays, and Thursday, Friday we extend our allotted amount of time are in the evenings. We offer food till about 8, or offer wine till about 8 p.m. So continuously evolving at 13th Street, and I do have a bias, but it's a pretty cool place to be. The art gallery right now, there's a really, really cool show with a gentleman named Floyd Elzinga and Alex Corney, and working with different metals, and there's an element of magnets for the wine, and I won't do it justice explaining it, but the idea of continuously providing a new experience on 13th Street is well where we want to go, and the grounds it's meant to be enjoyed. And really on our business, we really operate building inward out, so having a sense of place is really important to us, and trying to create as beautiful grounds as we can that people can enjoy.
Well, so now I can do a little tidbit. So but good timing on my part, but I'm going to be there this weekend. So are you open 7 days a week?
We are open 6. We are closed Sundays.
Okay, so maybe I can stop in there. Well, actually on Saturday, I'm coming down for I4C just for, but just for the dinner part. And that doesn't start till about 5. So if we can get our butts in gear and get down there early enough, I'm hoping that I can at least come and stop in to kind of walk around and sort of start my afternoon at 13th Street before I continue on to I4C.
I will be here, and you are welcome, and just give me a ring, or let me know when you're coming. I'd be happy to show you around.
Yes, I would love that. And is 13th Street going to be back at I4C again this year?
Yes, we are. Jean-Pierre will be there representing.
Good.
Pouring, and yeah.
No, looking forward to it. I said, as much as I do these tasting room Thursday events every year, by the time I get to I4C, it's kind of fun. I get to see everybody in person, like all together in one area, which is a lot of fun. Last year, I think I was the first person through the gate when they were allowing, like I was that excited to go in, which is pretty bad. I know, I'm such a keener, right? Anyways, I really appreciate you taking the time to chat with me. I said, you and I get to catch up a little bit more when I stop in this weekend. And then I'm really excited for everyone. I think the weather's supposed to be decent on Thursday, even if it's not. Our bar is always full, and we'll have pinchos and stuff again. But I really love to see people really embracing Ontario wine, like, you know, like no other. Like every year up here in Sudbury, we just get more and more people, and now they're starting to come in and ask for Ontario wines, which is what we always wanted. So I appreciate you taking the time just to chat with me a little bit, and I'll send a little teaser online just to let everybody know what's coming up for Thursday. And then this video will be up on YouTube for those who missed it and couldn't be with us this week, but they'll be able to learn about your wines at any time going forward.
Beautiful. Cheers.
Great. Cheers to you. Thank you.